Hello, everybody, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, your executive producer here, and thanks for tuning in to watch or listen to whatever it is you're about to watch or listen to. In these trying times, we really do appreciate everyone that feels that we are worth their time, and we hope that we're able to give you something entertaining to while away the time as you spend it. We particularly want to thank those of you that feel like we're worth financially contributing to, particularly our $25 and up supporters on Patreon, who are Antitonic, Drevian Alexander, Cat Waterflame, Rowan Parker, and Samantha Bates. Yes, I read that off of a list. Thank you very much for supporting us. I know that in these uncertain times, finances are tough for everybody, so that you're willing to donate to us means a lot to all of us here, and we thank you. That being said, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. We're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to In Grove or Green, the Changeling the Lost Chronicle that we're running here on Final Show Films. My name is Jack. I am your storyteller for the evening. Just to clear the air about a couple of things, fuck fascists, fuck domestic terrorism, democracy is important, and if you voted for Trump, you're probably not going to like this stream very much tonight.
Nope.
I am joined tonight by several people who will be accompanying me on this narrative journey that we're taking, starting with Holly.
Hi, I'm Holly. Hold on. Sorry, I'm blanking. I'm playing Lark. I'm sorry. It's been a long week. Lark, Beast One Wing.
And John.
Hola, damas y caballeros. Donald Trump puede morir en incendio junto con todas sus partidas. Facilitadores está jugando a Akujin esta noche a Metal Flesh Blood Brute Ogre.
Are you trying to figure out how to say blood brew in Spanish?
No, I know I couldn't say those. I was trying to remember the words Blood Brute.
And Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara, and I'm playing Lys, the Wizened Oracle.
And
Awesome.
Jeremy.
Hi, I am Jeremy. I am playing Megan Lansing, Draconic Ferris, and fuck all insurrectionists, too, just for extra good measure.
And William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Phage, the Ogre Gristle Grinder. And when I had stuff similar to all of this happening in my World of Darkness game that I was running, I was fucking joking!
Valid. And as always, Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter.
Yep.
And let's see what we've got going tonight. So, last time we were in Baltimore, the Motley Unlikely engaged in some light social engineering, assembling as much of the Keyhold as they could muster to the Commons to directly confront the threat of Queen Gracie Arundel, the Goblin Queen of the Baltimore Hedge. Even the reclusive Winter Sovereign was technically in attendance and provided the Motley and the Freehold with either necessary intel or just enough rope to hang themselves. Jury's still out on that. A few side conversations were had with ranking members of other courts as the Keyhold prepared to mobilize for battle, and then the Motley went their separate ways to prepare for the upcoming conflict. As the first gray gleam of sunrise peeks into the rooms where you awaken the following morning, all of your phones blink to life as DJ Utzel's voice ripples through at full volume. The storm begins. The storm begins. The storm begins. Axe time, sword time, shields are splintered. Wind time, wolf time, ere the world falls. The storm begins. And Liss, as you awaken, your thoughts drift back to the final moments at the Night Gallery yesterday, as Click Clack led you up to the snow-swept roof and set up his gaming table on a few spare milk crates. The wind is cold up here. It's completely unsheltered by other buildings. You are a good 50 to 60 feet above street level on this roof, and the chill is palpable. It's not a strong wind, but as he begins to maneuver these objects into an arrangement to provide some level of table and seating, you have to pull your coat around you to maintain any semblance of warmth. The board is placed down, and then he pulls out 4 other smaller square platforms and places them adjacent on each of the 4 sides. He indicates for you to take a seat opposite him.
I'll do so.
Okay. Do you know this game?
Not really. A little bit, maybe.
He points to the main board. This is the world. And your thoughts beneath rise to the surface as what you do in this world reflects what is happening in, and he just sort of sweeps his hands out, this world.
Okay.
And then he reaches for your hand.
Sure.
Takes it and puts 4 small objects into it and points at the 4 smaller adjacent ancillary boards that are surrounding this fairly regulation 19 by 19 Go board.
Mm-hmm.
Your soul, your past, your present, your future. Play each of those 4 first. And as you open your hand, you see 4 small kind of glass-like stones of varying colors. One is blue. One is kind of an iron or a slate gray. One is green. And one is gold.
I think I put them in that order right there.
Going clockwise or counterclockwise around the board?
Counterclockwise.
Okay. So just click, 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 and the last click. He glances at that and nods. You will go first and play black. I will play white. And this is not a game for victory this time. This is make the most beautiful board you can. All right?
Yes. Yeah.
He goes over the very basic rules of the game, of which there are primarily 2, with differing nuances brought up by context. But are you following his instructions to try and play a beautiful game, or are you trying to beat him?
Ooh. Ooh. The need for revenge is there. I think I'm gonna try and beat him.
Okay. That's fair. So you will be rolling intelligence and subterfuge.
Okay. This is not a great roll. Here we go. Can I spend willpower on this?
If you want to, sure.
I'm gonna do it. It's stupid. 2 successes.
Okay. He, knowing what he's there for, is not going to spend willpower and is going to roll intelligence and empathy. Okay. And then I need to look up which book that is. Engage his contracts of omen.
Ooh.
Wits and weird and spend 2 glamour. You are not the child under the age of 18.
Nope.
So you do not meet the catch. He will spend willpower on this. Two successes. Okay. So you guys take about an hour. Your fingers start to grow numb after a little bit of time, and you have to kind of blow on them or stick them under your armpits in between turns to sort of keep the blood flowing, keep the feeling nimble in those. And then he drops his last stone and just holds up a hand. We are finished. Based on your current understanding of how Go works, you're pretty sure he beat you. Not like a landslide beat, but he definitely won.
Damn it. Okay.
And he looks down at the board. There is this. You've got this just kind of almost a wedge of black as black plays first in front of you, with small islands, some with eyes, many of them completely surrounded by his chains of white. And there are a number of decent size holes in the board where you had begun a black chain that he eventually surrounded and captured. There are a couple of those in black as well, where you were able to manage some reasonable captures of your own. There is peril from the white for you. You have broken the ice. The cold reforms the ice. And the ice surrounds your motley now on all sides. Some or all of you are now in danger. From tonight. Some things will be decided at the castle, he says, pointing out to just your mass of black that's kind of seated directly on your side of the board. It is fortified. And forms a potent obstacle. You have angered them, and there will be reprisals. Undercutting authority is dangerous. And now the rulers dislike you. Thank you for the game.
Thanks.
I'm sorry it's not better news. You fight against good things.
The fight is good, or the things we fight are good?
No, you. You specifically. You fight against things in your life that could be good.
What if the good things are what got me here?
Maybe you can learn to be happy where you are. And take those good things and let them make you happy. If you can.
I don't like losing to you.
It is not because you failed.
I did. I think he won.
My victory in a game such as this is the tide flowing over a rock.
Oh.
You cannot win because of what was done to me.
Oh.
Which is why sometimes I try to play for a beautiful game rather than a quick one.
It was still
But
beautiful.
that can be learned.
I can. Thank you. I hope we're not a tragedy. Bye.
Bye.
Hope to see you later.
Okay.
I leave.
All right. But everybody gets a point of willpower back. Lark and Megan spent some time working on basic combat instruction and that sort of thing before crashing wherever you decided to for the night. Paige is escorted home and ensconced in a bed and allowed to recover from an infusion of alcohol and trauma.
Yep.
And I'm assuming, Akujin went off and like fucked a motorcycle or something. I don't know.
But I think we need to delve further in that. That needs a scene all of its own.
It was a weird lucid dream, dude. And you were like, nah, I can go with this.
I didn't pick up, but I can tell what the word was.
The word was no.
Fair enough. No, but Akujin, because you were basically just headed out afterwards as well.
I was waiting on news and probably just went and passed out somewhere.
Yep.
Akushin's in a
Most
fighting
of you
mood,
probably-
not a fucking mood.
That's fair. That's fair. That's reasonable. Most of you, on awakening, kind of reflexively pick up the phone and flip through looking for texts or something. No updates of yet.
No, I pick up my phone and go, "What the fuck, Otzel? Get out of my phone!"
I mean, that's fair as well. That's a reasonable reaction also.
I mean, Phage kind of looks over at the phone as it's going off and then looks over to see if Paige got woken up by the phone going off.
Paige she's got that sort of hair splayed over the face, sprawled, probably going to wake up with a hangover type vibe going, and is slowly stirring to some level of consciousness.
She's gonna very quickly put together a hangover cure, some water, some coffee, some various other. I have never been hungover enough to require a cure, but I'm pretty certain Phage has and knows a few good ones.
I can't
Yep,
get hungover, but I understand that raw egg is used in a lot of them.
That is a trope, definitely. You manage to nurse her into some level of functionality over the course of about an hour or so. It's there's a single little shaft of sunlight coming through the blinds, and she comes out in a bathrobe and sunglasses. Classic headache look.
Mm-hmm. Here, try this. So she slides it over.
Yeah.
Cracked egg with pepper.
Yep. Hair of the dog that bit you.
That would be more
Or
alcohol.
raw egg with pepper. Those are your two options. But as the hours tick by, there's this sort of active tension that seems to sort of hang over everything, of waiting for information. Waiting. Nothing. Silence. Continued silence, hour after hour. So what are you guys doing in the meantime?
I am going to find some poor fucker to take out some of this frustration on.
Okay. Where would we go looking for something like that? If we're Akujin in mid-January's Baltimore.
Definitely a bar. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
So you're looking to start a bar fight. We're not talking like I'm going to the gym or something.
No. I'm looking for some poor fucker in a red hat that's day drinking because he has nothing better to do. That I can just crack upside the back of a head with a beer bottle.
Give me wits and streetwise.
What year is this?
2018.
18.
Well, 2019 now.
Yeah.
Wits and street.
Wits and streetwise.
Preferably in a bar that's friendly to me and mine.
I mean, red hats have always been ugly regardless.
One success.
One success. You know that most of those individuals would not be caught dead in a bar that's friendly to you and yours.
Because most of you and
But
yours are Hispanic.
Hispanic and other. Like,
Yeah.
Hispanic, other, and sometimes gay.
All the things that make them scared.
But you are aware of a specific watering hole that has on occasion been patronized by gentlemen in yellow polos.
I'm gonna get. Hang on. What are their names? I'm gonna get Diego if he's not busy. Alfonso, Ramos, Manuel, and Gary. We're gonna go have some fun.
All right. So I'm going to have you roll just stamina and brawl, just one.
Is Gary your bear? Is this the guy I remember?
Yeah, Gary's the big guy.
Gary is the one fucking massive white guy with a little bit of a balding spot in the back of his head. Right.
That's Gary.
Who tools around. Right. He's their one. He's their token straight white.
What was that again? Brawl what?
Stamina and brawl.
And brawl.
Baltimore is definitely one of those cities that any time of day or night, if you go out looking for a fight, you can find one.
I'm
That was
wearing
almost a good nursery rhyme.
I'm wearing my full biker leathers.
Okay.
Do I get? That doesn't matter here because it's not intimidation. Do I get my boxing specialization for the brawl?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Two successes.
2 successes. All right.
I'm trying to pull glamour
you-
off this too.
Okay. Fair enough. You'll get 2 glamour off of this guy as you fall back on your tried and true method of finding a fight, which is to post up a couple blocks down, walk out the back alley, send Alfonso, who is the smallest and wiriest and technically most fragile looking of you, but with a glorious mustache.
Send
Him in the front.
Send the mustachioed twink ahead.
Right, exactly. Send him in the front. Have him work his magic and then wander out the back to entice a couple of people who do not realize what they are biting off to come out into the alley to attempt to try and teach this individual who has apparently encroached on their imperialist turf a lesson, only to find that they are now vastly outnumbered and severely outclassed in weight. So you get 2 glamour.
They walk out the back, and Gary closes the door behind them and stands
Basically,
in the way.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Gary tends to function more as a barricade and part of the cage in the cage match. In this, Gary's primary contribution is to occasionally shove somebody back into the brawl, and make sure that they don't run away before we're done here. But yes, you get 2 glamour and probable cause for at least some minor battery charges.
Make sure to take their wallets and their clothes.
Which right. So, you can add those misdemeanor assault charges to your notches on your bedpost, of which you have about 30 by now, probably. And yeah, you work off a bit of steam, but you do not lose control enough that you are tempted to bring, shall we say, deadly force to bear on a couple of the local riffraff.
No one dies. They just learn
Nobody
a lesson
dies.
they didn't know they needed.
Exactly. You don't know if it'll fix anything, but you at least got the pleasure of offering some social instruction. All right. Megan, Lark, Liss, anything you guys are up to this morning as you're waiting?
Just a couple.
Jeremy is typing.
Yeah. Lark, would you have spent the night at home, do you think, or where?
Lark spent the night
Ultimately.
at home.
Okay.
Since she hasn't heard anything, she will send Liz a text that says, "Do you want to go shopping?"
For what?
Stuff. ...
Yes.
Excellent.
I show up.
Time to take
All
bets
right,
on
so
what
the two of
stuff is.
I was going to say, so the 2 of you meet up. Where are you going shopping and what stuff are we looking for?
Lark wants to, first of all, she wants to just blow some money and get like a bunch of like designer purses and stuff like
You have a
that.
lot of money now.
Oh, yeah, it's
She-
true.
She also has plans on growing her social media following.
Good stuff. All right.
Influencer. You should buy this purse. It's great.
More like I'm gonna give away like really expensive stuff for followers.
Good way to work.
Okay.
Good way to do it. Good
Yep.
way to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Market that giveaways. Yep.
You're watching Final Show Films. We're going to give away a PS5. Never.
If we had one to give away.
I don't even have one for myself. There's still out of stock.
Say
Yeah,
if
neither
we
do I.
had one to give away, we would keep it. Lark also wants to get a new gun. And
Oh,
some
okay.
ammunition.
And some ammo. All right.
Mhm.
What sort of gun is Lark looking for?
I did not put thought into that. Sorry.
I want gun. What kind of gun? I don't know. Gun.
One that shoot
Gun go
bullet.
bang.
One that have bullet and go fire.
I don't know types of guns really well. Something fairly lightweight that has pretty good accuracy and distance.
So like a Beretta
Glock.
Okay.
or a Glock.
Like a what?
Like a Beretta or a
Glock.
Glock.
I was gonna say, yeah. So and
Yeah.
she's looking for specifically a handgun. She's not trying to go for anything that's like full auto or anything like that.
No, handgun,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right. Okay. So a largely legal handgun, more or less.
Largely illegal.
Yeah, I think probably a Glock. Looking at
Okay.
Well,
this.
if you want somebody to
Easy
carve the
enough.
registration number off of it, just give me a call.
Right. You could
Good to
practically
know.
just melt that shit off if you needed to, right? Okay. But yeah. So
you just tell the gun that it doesn't need to have that number on it anymore. And it just goes
Exactly.
away.
And you don't need Orton.
but that's my name.
I was gonna say, are you trying to tell the gun that its name isn't valid?
Well, no, it's its registration number, not its name. That's not your name. That's what the man uses to track you down. That's your
Look,
barcode.
everybody decides what their name is, and it might be the name that the man gave you.
Then you should keep it secret.
I just really like the idea of a gun that's talking back, like, no,
Mm.
I like
No.
my number.
This is an important number to me, man.
So if you're looking for a Glock,
Tells me where I came from.
the stats for a couple of different Glocks or 5.7s are on page 67 of the Armory book.
Yes. You'd probably be looking for, if you're looking for a slightly more accurate one with better range, probably a Glock 17. What's your strength score?
2.
How many dots of strength? You've got 2? Yeah. So you'd be able to handle that without penalty.
What you said, Glock 17?
Glock 17.
What does the 5.7 have a special note?
I liked it because dice rolled is not just your hit, but also your damage. A higher damage rating can either be a bigger gun or just a more accurate gun.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I need more bullets. That's what Liz is getting
Oh,
there.
the 5.7 has armor piercing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The standard rounds for a 5.7 are armor piercing. That's nice.
What page
Yep.
did you say it was on?
67.
Your stats for that one will be on page 67 of the Armory book. I can just read them off to you real quick if you want.
Oh, I'm almost there.
Okay, no worries then. But yeah,
Page.
standard Glock 17 has a little bit better range than the 26. Has a larger mag as well.
A little bit better, he says. Double the max range.
I mean, most ranges, yeah, most firearm combat actually happens within fairly close range.
I have a weird thought. Can I get a paintball gun?
Yeah.
Cool. I want one of those.
All right. What you gonna do with it?
I'm gonna get a bunch of different colors of paint,
Okay.
and then I'm
Fair
gonna think
enough.
of the possibilities.
Okay. It's an excellent. You are informed jokingly by the proprietor that is an excellent way to signal other drivers when you're displeased with their conduct on the road.
God damn
Oh,
He
Don't tell her that is a
Okay.
joke,
Has
you
no
idiot!
idea who he's
Oh my
talking to.
it!
gosh!
Do that, Jack.
because
Marcus over there shaking her head. Don't ever do that, Liz. It's a joke.
yeah, it's a joke. And then he kind of looks at Liz like
Lark will glare at this guy.
I'll
he
wink
kind of
at
gives
him.
you the what the fuck it was this,
Don't
you get
joke.
you get the idea that he's a retail clerk. This is literally the best type of interaction that he's able to have at his
Beautiful.
job. This is a standard joke that he makes to literally everybody.
I'm
And
into it.
yeah. Mhm.
Someone's about to get their window shot out with a paint gun.
It would take more than a paintball gun to
Yes,
crack
yes.
a car window. It's safety glass, dude.
Depends on the car.
Mm.
Trust me, it depends on the car.
Depends on how close you shoot. To
That-
be fair.
I was gonna say, also depends on distance, yeah, because those things lose velocity pretty quick.
Real quick.
But yes, you are able to get a paintball gun, and all the necessary kit. He's like, "Do you need helmet, body?"
Ooh, a helmet.
Well,
He shows you a slew of brightly colored and or camo tactical looking paintball gear.
what I'm saying is,
Selection.
under the right circumstances, it's not impossible that Liz will be the result of a death with this paintball gun.
Yes.
So it occurred to me that these are just capsules filled with liquid, and mercury can be a liquid, and it's a lot denser than paint.
No. Stop.
You could also replace the capsules with sturdier capsules.
I get something
Or metal spikes.
appropriately cool looking. I think I'm gonna go like a sleek kind of like fancy looking one. I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever looks nice.
You're
Not
missing the
brightly colored for this.
You're missing the obvious, John. Napalm.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Acid.
white phosphorus.
Acid. Yes. Ooh, I have a thing. I have a flower
white
that
phosphorus
that
paint
can
gun.
make
Fuck.
house
War crimes made
hallucinogens
easy.
eventually. I've got plans now. Okay, carry on.
Let's do
Yes,
a
but
war
those have to-
crime with Liz.
But those have to be actively consumed and
Is
ingested.
it or is it skin contact?
No, it's not skin contact.
Darn it. Okay, I gotta find the skin contact
They
stuff.
don't make a hallucinogenic massage oil. Even the
Eh?
changelings aren't quite that crazy yet.
Are you sure?
Yet. But yes, you guys are able to find a number of high-end brand name and or independent locally designed fashion accessories and pieces,
Perfect.
as well as, guns to accessorize your purses with.
Get a very
Second
sparkly
Amendment.
purse,
Woo!
and then I put my cop's gun in the purse. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure if I'm not seeing it. I see a bunch of stats for a bunch of different Glocks, but I don't see
Glock
the one
17.
for- Yeah, I don't see the
Glock
one
17 is
Glock
right under
17.
FN57.
And above Glock 26.
Are you in the Armory or the Armory Reloaded book?
I might. No, I'm in Armory.
Okay. All right. So it'll be on.
Sorry.
There will be a chart.
Oh,
Page 67. It's not page 67 according to the document notation. It's page 67 according to the printed numbers.
Page
Look at the
68
bottom
on the
right-hand
PDF.
corner.
I see it. I was on the wrong page.
Yeah, page 68.
Sorry,
on the
no,
PDF.
no,
Sorry,
mm,
that's
yeah,
my bad.
It's one of those things where they're like, the cover is a page.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's a document, not a book, apparently. Anyway, but you guys are able to find everything you're looking for as far as those purchases are concerned, and
I like how Liz
Lark
refers
definitely
to it
has
as,
enough disposable income to afford all of these purchases. There is a fair bit of paperwork with the gun.
Hmm.
I like how Liz refers to it as a cop gun instead of Nero's gun.
Yeah, no, it's a cop gun. Mark, can
Yep.
you buy me bullets? I don't want to ask.
Yeah, Lark will buy her bullets.
Okay.
The
I
stuff
don't want to have a background check because stuff will come up.
Fine. Lark will buy Liz whatever she wants.
Sweet.
Person over the counter will ask no questions because America.
Yep.
Yep, indeed. Mhm.
Lark, don't forget.
I am
after this,
so
we have to
delighted
get
with our
tattoos.
energy today. I am so delighted.
My energy brought to you by Angry Orchard.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did Liz just say?
Don't forget, after this, we have to go get tattoos.
When were we going to get those done?
Today.
You guys were supposed to schedule an appointment. Mhm.
He did schedule an appointment.
Right.
We did. Yeah, we did.
Yep. Mhm. It's in a couple days. Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, because they scheduled
Yeah,
them,
no,
same,
she-
they scheduled them
After
as I was getting
Yeah.
done with mine.
Yeah,
are
you
going
guys
to go
scheduled them at
with
the same
me.
time. Yeah,
Yes.
there was going to be a several weeks waiting period because she is in high demand even in
Yep.
the depth of winter.
Mhm.
The only one you can do because she's somebody who can modify your mask or your meme.
Yes.
Yep.
Don't
Mhm.
don't you're going to go with me to get a tattoo. Promise.
Yes, I am.
She was
There's something I really want to get. Yes, I promise.
Okay.
Oh, Lark as well, because I forgot to look at all the details. There is a Glock 22 model available as well. The magazine capacity is 15 plus 1 in the chamber rather than the 17, but you get 9 agains on those rolls. So basically 9s and 10s explode rather than just 10s. So you could pick up one of those for the same price as well.
or
Yeah,
instead.
I'll get both of them.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm
Lark,
getting both of them. I've
Lark,
got the money for it.
practitioner of gun kata.
I'm gonna kill some hobs.
Do you have armor?
Fair enough.
I do not have armor. No.
Can you get armor here?
Give me a wits and composure, or a wits and streetwise.
Can I do wits and composure?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 successes.
Yeah, Lark, as you're looking around the store, you don't see much in the way of body armor.
Yeah.
And you get the idea that there's this weird sort of thing, something's kind of tickling in the social awareness part of your brain where you're like, yeah, it's a little weird that they can sell a ton of weapons, but it's more suspicious if you're also buying body armor.
Yeah.
They're fine with people having the ability to put lead in the air. They are not nearly as fine with people having the ability to, if any of the lead in the air hits them, possibly mitigating some of that physical trauma.
It's almost like they expect you to use these for like sports shooting rather than trying to be in a gunfight.
You know?
I
You would
don't
hope.
think this is the place to get armor.
Or
Liz.
hunting, where the deer rarely have guns.
Yeah.
Rarely. Not never, but rarely.
Rarely, right.
Or,
I mean,
accessorizing on your way to a Krispy Kreme.
I mean, if you ask Dick Cheney, then quails definitely have shotguns.
Yes, they do. Mhm.
Some of his best friends are quails. That was an unintentional pun.
That's an excellent pun there.
That was
sir.
an unintentional pun.
Mr. Dan, we're looking at you. Have you learned how to spell
To
potato
the
yet?
best of my knowledge, he has not shot any other vice presidents in the face with a shotgun. Just friends. But that's a good question. When was the last time we saw Dan quail? Because he might have gone hunting.
I do want to
And
quote.
we just never know.
I do want to reference the oh God, why is the name completely blanking? I do want to reference the late great Robin Williams in that it's very impressive to shoot somebody in the face while hunting quail, because they're like this far off the ground. You have to like drop kick it in the air and go gah.
Does Lark know where a good place is that she can find some armor?
Based on what you've heard from your other Motley mates, Fort McHenry. Talk to the Summer Court about that sort of shit.
Okay. Liz, do you want armor?
I have armor.
Okay.
You don't.
No, I don't. I think I need to talk to some summer people.
Okay.
You want to come with?
No. Thanks.
Okay, I'll drop you back off.
This was fun. And then I spent some time staring at my purse.
Okay.
It's pretty.
Fair enough.
Lark buys like 20 designer purses, by the way.
Okay. Just like completely buys out a small shop front, pretty much.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Basically anything expensive designer that
Okay.
he thinks people would want in a giveaway.
Lark,
Okay.
why be an actress when I can be an influencer?
Well, you start with the social media, and then she wants to be a singer.
Right.
Why be a
then
singer
you-
when
and
I
then
can
you
be
shoot-
an influence?
Singer.
There you
Right. Yep.
go.
And then you can leverage that into better opportunities. Yeah,
Or
your
Doja Cat.
agent hasn't heard about the money that you've come into, so he still thinks he's a very necessary part of your life, which he will be for looking over
Yes.
contracts and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. She will keep him in the dark for now.
Okay,
Then his
So-
cut does not go up.
right.
Yes. Lark will drop off Liz back at the crack house if that's where she wants to go,
Yep,
and
yeah.
then go to get some armor.
Okay. So you drive down to Fort McHenry. Normally on a January late morning, this place would be completely dead. However, there are about 6 or 7 cars parked in the parking lot, a number of which you recognize from having been seen parked out in front of the night gallery. And you get the idea that you are probably not the first changeling who was like, hey, we just had basically a fucking war council. Maybe I should go talk to Summer about getting some, goddamn backup something or other in case shit goes sideways. And as you step out of the vehicle, you see standing outside and just keeping an eye on things, apparently, is Gail.
Wonderful.
Good thing you've got that contact with the summer court.
Lark,
Lark,
how are you?
she'll kind of just hold up a hand and keep walking.
She'll fall into step next to you.
Oh no.
So are you here for the same thing everybody else is?
Probably.
All right. Well, I'll see if I can get you a little further down the line.
That would be
Bill's been
appreciated.
real busy this morning, so I will see if we can bump you up in the queue a little bit. Phage did very well last night, I thought.
Yes. Lark just kind of looks at her like, that's all you're getting out of me.
Fantastic. Well, we'll be out in front and hopefully see you there. And she kind of loops her arm through yours briefly as there's this sort of line of people now that you've gotten down and inside and into the commons dining hall. Or the common dining hall, I should say. This isn't the commons. This is the summer hold. And just sort of finagles you around about 4 or 5 other changelings that are sort of waiting in a knot. A couple of them kind of look over like, what the okay, I guess. And you are led down a little hallway as one of the walkabouts, that other motley that you guys have had on and off contact with, mostly Spring, but Flish Flash steps out, and she's got just a duffel bag under her arm that is apparently filled with several heavy objects that sort of clunk together. Oh, Lark, hi.
Hey.
Gotta get supplied, you know?
Yep. Nope. That's what I'm here for.
Okay, well, good luck. And Gail just deposits you at the door and lets you go in of your own accord. As you go in, Bill Squires is there with a clipboard in hand. Walrus mustache, immaculately groomed as always, despite his short stature. His pristine white button down with the sleeves rolled up just to his biceps, which are literally just ripped for a small guy. And Pennon glances up at you as you come in. He's got a little pair of reading glasses kind of sitting low on his nose. Looks very Industrial Revolution right about now. And a couple other summer court members in more or less full gear are going through and kind of moving things back and forth and looking at the general situation of stock here. But you get the idea that Bill's here as sort of quartermaster duties at the moment. Oh, well, good to see you, Lark. How's everything?
Quiet.
Boss still treating you well, I hope?
Yeah.
Because you know that Bill is Barnaby's motley mate.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Okay. Yep. And he tends to keep an eye on most of his other motley members. But any time that you spent with Barnaby, Bill has been one of the regular presences in Barnaby's social circle, obviously. What are we trying to look for today?
I just need some basic armor.
Little light on that right now. I don't have anything much for sale currently. Best I can probably offer is a temporary requisition.
Okay.
The kind of thing where I sign it out to you, and then assuming that everybody's
that's-
alive afterwards, you hand it back after we're done.
Yeah, that's fine. I just need it for what's coming.
Oh yeah. No, that absolutely makes sense. Are you going heavy or light? I don't really know. He kind of glances up and down at you.
I
feel like you're more of
light.
a quick. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, something I can move around in.
All right. Well, if we want to just go with a standard bulletproof vest, that's reasonably serviceable. And still keeps things pretty intact. Probably best option as far as things go. I've got a couple extras of those that I can still toss around.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Alrighty. Go ahead and sign here. And he flips a page, initial here and here.
All right.
Okay. And I will grab you, and he kind of whistles over his shoulder. 1 BV for the lady, thank you. And just hands you a bulletproof vest, which the stats on that are on page 176 of that same document.
Okay.
The actual page 176 of the file itself. All right. I'll expect that in good, clean condition afterwards. Yeah. If you need help getting blood out of things, there's people that can help with that.
Okay. Thank you.
Just flag the next person in when you're good.
All right. She'll
And,
walk out, flag the next person.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, there's a knot of mostly spring and autumn folks out front. And you just wave the next person in, and they stomp down the corridor.
Everyone in summer's already armed. Everyone in winter isn't showing up. So those would be the two
Right.
courts left.
Pretty much.
Hey,
But yeah,
we're
you've got
already
some
armed, but
body
we
armor
could
now.
always use more, okay?
That's fair. There is no such thing as too armed.
Exactly.
Not in this case.
I myself need to find these armor-piercing the 5.7 pistols.
One-armed people or three-armed people only. No two-armed.
Okay. So, what is anybody else doing anything that needs a scene?
Phage was just going to have a very brief conversation with Paige whenever she's sufficiently recovered. Just
Yep. Mm-hmm. After several beverages and some greasy food, she seems to be more or less functional again.
so. This is where things start to get serious. All right.
You don't say.
All right. What kind of serious are we talking about?
Well, the life-threatening kind, at least for me.
Bodies dropping from the ceiling.
I know that there are dangers out there that sometimes you have to confront. I've also been listening and learning. And from what I understand, while Akujin might be in the social role of a foot soldier, that is not your position or duty as far as your society is concerned. Am I wrong?
Maybe not as far as my role as a member of Spring Court, but this isn't something that can just be left to lie.
No, it's not. But when a house is on fire, the EMT does not run in, generally.
No.
Because that is not their purpose in that situation. They're necessary to be present, but they don't try and do somebody else's job.
Yeah, but in this particular case, I think it's more of an all-hands-on-deck thing. Because the ship is sinking, and we either bucket and shovel and repel boarders, or we all go down.
Interesting metaphor. Do you know that most sailing ships have multiple decks for multiple purposes?
We can go back and forth with this all day.
I like this one.
Or you
Saying
can
is
admit that
stand
I'm
behind
right.
Akujin.
You are, but there's still going to be plenty of danger.
And I'm not saying that I'm making some demand where you have to stay in a danger-free zone. I'm saying that if you make the choice to go charging for the front lines, I want you to be in a place where you recognize that you are doing that because you chose to, not because there's nobody else that can.
I'm pretty certain the only time there'd be nobody else that can, we'd already have lost.
Exactly. So you do what you need to help. I absolutely understand that. I'm not going to pretend that I think that there's much that I can personally contribute to this. And while normally when my romantic partner says they have to go off and fight a gang war, I generally take that as a sign that it's probably very much time to break up with whoever I'm dating. I realize that you operate in a very different context, and that this is not this sort of thing one can simply try to rely on our law enforcement forces, such as they are, for.
It's a bit bigger than a gang war, but I appreciate it.
ACAM. All cops are Mondays.
That's provably not true.
Hero wasn't a cop anymore. Former cop.
Mages. But I'm suddenly
Fuck, some werewolves, man.
I'm suddenly curious about Paige's dating history, which I previously didn't care about at all.
Yeah. We're changelings. We don't
You
know
realize
mages and werewolves exist.
this is the city they filmed The Wire in, right, Jeremy?
I mean, yes, of course, but
Although that raises the question: how many people have you dated that have gone off to fight a gang war?
thank you.
2.
Counting me? Or were there
No.
2 other people?
Exclusive of you.
I want to hear that story at some point if you're willing to share.
One of them. Was
High
the
school
guy I
was. People make stupid decisions in high school.
They do.
Paige is my new favorite character of this campaign.
But the other thing I wanted to say was, if for whatever reason, either because things went that far south or because something stupid happened, if I don't come out of the other end of this, I don't know what you feel like, but there's always the option of just forgetting this ever happened and treating it like a bad dream when the glamour wears off.
I realize that's an option for some people. There are, even if all of you vanished tomorrow, this is not something that you can pretend away as something that didn't happen. I'm sure that there's magic that can modify memories and that sort of thing, and et cetera, but by natural progression of events, this is a fundamental paradigm shift. And even if the enchantment wears off and I can't see it anymore, I'll still know that it's there.
You done broke this one for good.
I'm not saying that to be morbid. I intend to be back. I'm not allowed to die yet.
Good. I have a marginally vested interest in, your continued existence.
I love you sometimes.
I
Well,
love you
all
too.
the time. All right, I should probably go see what the others are up to. You all right with that hangover?
I'll be okay. Text me updates, all right?
All right. She will
Will not
go to see what people are doing.
Okay. And Paige goes to her normal stack of newspapers and news feeds that she uses during most of her downtime for personal entertainment. to figure out
I will leave
what's
her with
happening in policy these days.
I will leave her with a well-made, if significantly oversized, breakfast.
Okay, fair enough. All right. So by now it's at least noon to 1:30, somewhere in there, early afternoon.
Was Megan doing anything?
Do what?
I was asking if Megan was doing anything.
Yeah.
Megan is just going about her day because there's nothing to do yet. And, well, her regular day involves working off nervous energy. So she's going out jogging. I understand it's like 20 degrees. She doesn't care. She's still in she's still in like a t-shirt. Because extreme sensation is definitely something. Doing a workout, et cetera, until anybody tells us different. Just
Yeah.
All right. So, around 1:30, Akajin, you get a text from War Dancer. Full brief, 30 minutes, dining hall.
That would be the dining hall at Fort McKendree.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Text back. I text back a emoji of the sun, and then only ?
And you get back a thumbs up.
Right. That way. Send it Motley in a group text. Summer's having a meeting. I'll let you know if there's anything relevant.
But on arrival, all of the vehicles that are present you recognize as Summer members transit. Apparently the grounds have been mostly cleared, with the exception of one, who you don't quite recognize. But its owner is made reasonably apparent as you descend into the.
I've got my blade visible on my shoulder as I go.
Okay.
in.
Down to the Summer Hollow. The War Dancer and Papa Sledge are up front. Sunset is seated off to one side, as are Will Starkers and Gilly, who you recognize from last night. And with them are two other individuals. I don't think you can go ahead and give me an intelligence and socialize if you want.
Does my mantle apply?
Not for these, no, because neither of these are members of your court.
Int socialize. 0 successes.
Okay. So yeah, the only thing you can really tell is probably rangers. One is an elemental, one's a wizened. And they both look like if you took your average like Appalachian Trail through hiker and then threw a whole bunch of tactical gear onto them as well, that's basically the sort of, they look like combat hikers pretty much.
I will.
But War Dancer's up front.
Unless a position is indicated for me otherwise, I will walk through the ranks, expecting them to move, because that's how I do, until I'm at the front of the gathered crowd.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's pretty much the entire summer court. So you've got at least 20 odd people here.
And then once I'm at the front,
Jeremy.
Yep.
Since I live nearby, I'm jogging over once I get the text.
Okay.
What are they gonna do? Keep me out?
I didn't say where, for what that's worth.
No, but you said there was a meeting of the summer court. I live within walking distance of the summer court headquarters.
Fair. Yeah, and then once I'm at the front, tip down, knight stance at the front.
Mm-hmm. The War Dancer steps up. All right. Well, we've gotten base reports from on the ground. There were a number of bits of intel. We're dispersing that to you as our forces. If your motleys, such as they are, for those of you that are in mixed, are trustworthy and can offer support, feel free to make sure that they're updated. Obviously, everything that takes place here is eyes only for the weird ones. No mundanes informed. Even if they're contacts or you think might have helpful info, you handle that without tipping our hand at all. We do not need extra getting out to people who might take advantage, especially if we're doing a full mobilization. We want everybody to be under the impression that everything is still locked and secured on the real side. We are calling in some of the border to make sure that we have good eyes while most of us are in the thorns. But Anima and Vision went with the Rangers here. Jude points over to the other two who are seated with Gilly. They did a full scout of the gates that Winter provided. No immediate presence directly inside. Seems that there has been a bit of a pullback recently. Obviously, hedge being what it is, time is weird, but seems like these gates haven't been used for at least a couple days per. Ainsley and Acacia, as acting rangers, guided R2 deeper in, and there seems to be indication of a fortress further down the trod from Hanlon Park. Autumn's been documenting trods since we've been here, basically. The Hanlon one reaches further than any of our records had indicated, but they were kind enough to offer up at least the base tactical layout of that trod. There is a several hour transit before you get to the actual target location itself. These hubs do not seem to be much for subtle tactics. It's unlikely that by our analysis that this castle is a decoy or a false target. There is a significant presence of them on the grounds and in the surrounding area. But the terrain between the Hanlon Gate and the target is rugged and circuitous. So we're working on a tactic strategy to try and cut that as much as possible. That's going to be on the Rangers to provide. Autumn's working their angles to try and get a troop drop as close as possible without having to brave the thorns and all the hazards that would be required for an overland journey within the hedge. Once they have something up and running, everybody will need it to be prepped and ready to deploy at a moment's notice. This is going to be a rapid response blitz attack. Questions?
Raise a hand.
Sword Boy.
In relation to Queen Gracie, are we capturing or not?
Odds no. That's not how we do.
Cool. Just wanted to make sure.
So it's just
And-
having to be like, all right, you can't kill him in front of anybody.
Yeah. And there's a very, very clear murmur of approval at that. And with your time in Changeling society, given the trauma associated with imprisonment, capture, and that sort of thing, the idea of imprisoning another being, specifically another, or especially if something that is changeling or even changeling adjacent, is pretty much the worst thing you can do.
I was more asking if it was
Mhm.
like, are we going to capture and try to bring her back to the real, or are we going to kill her there? Was more
Mhm. Yeah.
more the question
Yeah.
than like
Mhm.
capture
Yeah.
and imprison.
Mm-hmm. No, but even that sort of thing, most of the time when the changeling equivalent of an APB is put out, they basically say dead or alive, and alive is if you can talk them into coming back of their own free will, yes. Otherwise, if they won't, then you just kill them.
Got it.
Because you don't put somebody in chains and make them go somewhere against their will. That is not something changelings do.
And that was
because of their nature.
and that was
Yeah.
the clarification that Akujan was
Yeah.
looking for.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What's the objective?
Yep. Ainsley, though, if you want to step up and give your report on that, and the elemental of the two rangers, who you recognize as actually a member of Leaf Fingers Motley, steps up and pulls down one of those, display maps. You can tell this has been probably sketched out fairly roughly and within the past hour or so, most likely. And she starts pointing out, obviously, the hedge is malleable territory. Situations can change quickly, but this is our best analysis and report on what the surroundings look like. You've got a fortified location here. You've got water courses coming down either side. They broaden out, and there's a heavily overgrown, thicketed area. Brush makes movement difficult. There is a trod path that leads to the front gates. Grounds off the path are appearing hazardous in the extreme. Thick brush, sharp thorns, based on what we could pull of likely plant growth and habitation, seems to be fairly boggy from the water courses. And the water itself is way too clean. So I'd steer clear of that shit. There's a little murmur of, don't know what that's about, but okay, I guess. I mean, yeah, so that's not an option, then But we will be trying to set up a staging point slightly further down. We noted a decent clearing where a mirror port might be able to be arranged, assuming we can get something across the distance in the interim. That will take us traveling light even a couple hours, so we are looking at a possible sundown engagement schedule at the earliest.
Words are a thing. They had said this is the Hannon Park one.
Hanlon Park Gate. Yep.
Isn't that the one that we walked in near the observatory or conservatory?
No, you guys walked into the Rawlings Trod, which was at the conservatory.
Okay.
They do.
Yeah.
Sorry,
connect.
Hanlon Park is really close to the conservatory.
they do connect.
Those Trods connect. Mm-hmm. But based on the brief that's been given so far, this one is further away, the far side of Hanlon Park, away from Rawlings. So that would be an even further back and would require more transit time than even just going straight in at Hanlon.
And there's been no mention of the little
The thing we found.
replay that we discovered.
The time bubble? Nope, nobody said anything about that.
They'd have to go a different direction to find it, I imagine.
They would, but they are connected. That's why I was asking.
Mm-hmm.
Not in character.
Also,
Right.
also
She's just staying totally quiet at the moment in the back.
Also, out of character, we've talked to people that have scouted through that trod, never found that bubble. So it might be a thing where it's harder to find than
Maybe.
we may have only found it because we were looking for it.
Maybe. Or it lies in wait. But yeah.
From beneath you, it devours.
Nope. Absolutely not.
Where does it go? Where does it go? Where does it go?
We are not being in this shitty season of Buffy, thank you very much.
Fair enough.
Isn't that season 7?
I think that was 7. Whichever one with Nathan Fillion was in it.
Yes. Sorry, that wasn't the worst season. That was just
I
the
was gonna
most.
say that wasn't the worst.
It wasn't the worst. It was the most disappointing season.
Mm.
No, it was not. It was not Buffy the Vampire Slayer: The College Years.
Fucking Riley.
Worst character.
Were they fucking Riley is the question.
Yes.
Yes, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
But so Acacia comes up to join in and basically gives a little bit of extra background as far as terrain and what you guys can expect. But the general tactic seems to be it's a pretty well fortified area. But if we can get quick and get past their initial fortifications, at least then we're not being attacked from them behind cover. And we're going to just have to try and move fast, hit hard, get our target, and get out.
I'll raise another hand at us. What are the fortifications made of? Were you able to tell? All hedge, nothing else?
Hedge and stone, based on what we could see. Vision Kane, who was one of the summer courtiers that was present, kind of stands up to answer that one. He's got these like long robes, and his head, he looks a little bit like Mysterio. His head is literally just a crystal ball. Basic fortification, but primarily hedge, woven thorn, heavy vine, thick vine. It would be a bitch to cut through and worse to try and climb over.
Any obvious hindrances, or are we trying to punch through the stone aspects?
Path leads up to a gate with at least some sort of portcullis or barricade that way.
The ogres up front?
Probably.
From the back here, notable defenses.
Archers. We saw patrols on the battlements up top. Not much on ground. If it wasn't for the hazardous nature of the plants, you'd be able to approach under cover slowly pretty easily. But you'd just be fucking ribbons trying to crawl through that mess.
Right.
Red caps on the walls?
Didn't see any, but based on the noises we heard coming from inside, pretty decent representation of forces. A little bit of track on the trod. I'd say we're looking at 100, 150 probably.
I look around. How many summer people do we have in the room?
About 25.
So 4 each, everybody.
Hey.
Including you in that statement, Megan.
Both hey and okay.
All right. Any follow-up? We're trusting Autumn to get us there. They'll stock on magic offense as well. Make sure that you are loaded for bear. If you've got combat contracts, make sure you're high on fuel. Everybody clear? Murmur of assent goes around the room. All right, then. Keep your text handy. That's how we're going to give you location as to where we're actually going in. We're not sure where Autumn's Gate is going to open up, so you need to be mobile and ready to go. If you can lurk around the Hanlon Park region, it'll probably be somewhere fairly proximal to there. Basically, don't be, getting coffee outside Hopkins while this is going down. This is west side of the city stuff.
Fallback positions. The gate
In
or
terms
anything
of?
else? Do we have any set aside? Do we have Spring waiting at the gate? What are we going to have in case of wounded?
Sunset stands up. Spring will be setting up triage. Some of them on the near side of the gate, some on the far. Will enter with our combat medic, and a few support staff will enter with you and assist in maintaining presence at our exit point. The rest will be lying in wait, and we are going to put out a message to Winter that their support would be welcome.
We need to have anybody volunteer to stay back as a rear guard, or is Autumn and Spring going to handle that as well?
We'll handle that for the most part.
All right.
And the two rangers kind of give a little bit of a finger wave. The Ainsley, who gave the first part of that brief, you can see she's got just a heavy crossbow just strapped to her back, with a number of bolts in smaller quivers on either hip. And definitely looks like she could punch some holes in some plate metal with that thing if she needed to.
I got nothing else.
All right. Put out the alerts then. Sunset, you're talking to the icy bastards, and we'll get this figured out. Stay frosty, everybody. Dismissed.
Walk
And
over.
that's where we're going to take a break.
We're back in just a bit. If you're watching on Twitch, please stay tuned for these commercial messages. We're back.
So, with the briefing over and standing orders given to the entire summer court, the spring and autumn courtiers off to their representatives to perform their necessary informative duties. You guys are free to prepare.
I will basically send a text to everybody except Megan, who's there. Let's meet up at the crack house. And then indicate to Megan that we should head there and inform everybody of what's going on. I do, instead of saying crack house, though, I do refer to it with a snowflake and house emoji.
Cool.
I just look at you like, did you just create an entirely different text group just so you wouldn't have to text me?
No.
I was going to say, I assume Megan also got this text, and then he just approached you personally as well.
Well, you know, but John had specifically said everybody but Megan, so...
It's fair.
I just removed you from the to list, which I assume sends it to the same group, and then I can add you back.
That's way more work than it needed to be.
Yeah. I reply back, crack house.
Yeah, Lark replies back. Right, crack house.
As the dings come in, also,
responses.
let me see your phone now because I want to see these responses.
Paige just kind
they
of
still
pinches
have
her
you on the
nose
two
for a
so.
second.
I wasn't like trying to hide the fact that I'm referring to it as a crack house. I was just using the emojis. It's the powder house. If there was a powder emoji, I would have used that, but there isn't. The closest you can get is a snowflake. Or the angry snorting emoji face, which I might have used, which kind of looks like
Triumph
somebody.
House?
No. It's like an angry face with two white cloud.
Yeah, that's the triumph
yeah.
emoji.
Oh, is it?
That is not what that looks like.
It's
absolutely not what that looks like.
No.
It's supposed to be like the Japanese like exhale, I've done the thing emoji.
Yeah,
No, it looks like.
But it can also be read as somebody snorting cocaine through two different straws.
I mean, that's valid. That's a valid interpretation as well.
Watch me do both of these lines at once. Click.
We do not recommend that.
Chad,
No,
you're an
we
idiot.
All right. So everybody's reassembling.
Yep.
Yeah, get them all together,
Okay.
and then
Yep.
blah, the information that you all heard.
Yep. The pertinent points of the brief are transmitted.
So
Something to keep in mind. That is the in the general vicinity of that little special replay that we noticed.
none of the Rangers mentioned it, which I assume and none of the higher ups seemed particularly spooked. So I assume they didn't stumble on it, which either means they just didn't find it or didn't go in the right direction.
Or somebody did, and they're somebody we shouldn't be trusting. Remember, this whole thing, that whole thing is potentially about a traitor.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
but at the moment, there's not really much we can do about that.
no, absolutely not. That's why I didn't say anything there. I was just saying it to remind everybody because, it would be a bad thing for us to be surprised by.
I feel like we should have members of our motley specifically at every part of this interaction so that we have eyes on the rest of the keyhold in case.
I am a spring member and also able to do healing and also pretty solid at being a rear guard, so I'll be hanging out with the medical teams, keeping them safe, doing what healing I need to do.
Splitting everything up.
We're splitting up, but we're splitting up within the keyhole.
Didn't you see the picture of the polar bear?
Oh?
Okay. Alone out on the ice.
Oh,
We're decidedly not alone in this particular instance. We have the
But-
entire keyhold with us.
also
We're
not out on
also
the ice.
not polar
Not like-
bears lists, and there is no ice.
Well, I mean, there's
Yes.
ice. I point out to the snow.
I was gonna
bed.
say
Well,
there is.
not like.
We're not on a glacier at the North Pole, though. No.
Thank you. Yeah, no, they're not glaciers.
Okay, but
I get the metaphor you're looking for,
It's-
Liz, and I understand what you're trying to say with this, but
Oh,
we can rely on other people than just ourselves at times.
we can also make sure that nobody's by themselves in any of the positions they're in. I assume by your eagerness, Megan, that you want to be up front.
I mean, I usually.
Yeah. I'm just,
Let's give me a
But-
wits and either politics or socialize.
okay. I have a dot in politics. Let's go with that.
Okay.
ooh, we have a battle map, kind of.
One.
As your motley makes reference to the fact that we're not going to be alone, we're going to be protected by the presence of the other members of the keyhold and that sort of thing, your mind once again goes back to Click Clack's statements of the previous night. Your motley has undercut Winter's authority and provided them with only a tacit heads up in advance, and they do not like you at all and will seek reprisals, according
Yeah.
to what Click Clack read on your game.
We don't. Enemies in and out and around. Leaffinger, I punched him.
Okay.
What if he tries to punch me back?
Don't let him.
Try and punch me.
I'm not. I don't want to hurt you.
Uh-huh.
I'm
I would
also.
try and
I'm also way more capable of punching people than Leaffinger is. So
It does have a spear.
doesn't mean that.
Liz, we may have made some enemies in our group, but I think right now we can all concentrate on the common enemy in front of
Okay,
us.
so in that case, Liz, if you're worried about enemies within the keyhole, then we make sure that none of us are at any of our individual positions alone.
The map is big. There are walls. And the hedge.
No. So if
Well,
You're a shadow when invisible.
my shadow's dead,
far
Uh-huh.
as I can see, there's only really two places that any of us will need to be, which is either in the field or helping other people.
both the three of you stay back with the rear guard. Megan and I go in the front. We're
No.
all want to come to the front because I'm not staying in the back.
Liz, that might be a bad idea.
You've said many a time, Liz, that you're not a fighter. Putting you up against the hobgoblins might not put you in an easy reach for Winter or whoever else might be angry at us, but that'll put you in reach of the hobgoblins.
I mean, you would be surrounded by summer, which I can think of very few places that are safer. But
On that note, though, I would like to be in the front.
okay,
There.
Summer's not safe, but they were interrogating people who came out of the hedge. This is
Why is summer not safer?
summer likes our motley.
Mhm.
Like summer
I
likes
get
the
along
unlikely.
really well with summer even before. I
like
was making
summer.
friends.
Summer also likes the unlikely. That's been true for a while.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's because we exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we need to have pieces left over. So.
I'm not following.
Me either, but that's not
A
cool.
bomb works once. And then it's shrapnel.
Mm-hmm.
We're a very nice bomb. Boom. There goes Winter has to make a statement. This
Problem with your analogy is that the Motley has exploded 3 times now.
Are we all meaning the same thing by
don't need to rub
exploded?
it in.
I was more talking about making a big impression on the keyhold. First with the commons, second with the bridge burners, and then third with getting Winter to show up.
Also, I there were cops in the commons and the Winter sending a message right there in the open, and there's been lots of messages, and some of the people who send messages don't come back out of the hedge. The letters, just like the letters. So maybe we'd be more careful.
What do you want to do, Liz?
Stick together. Don't lose sight. Fine cream Gracie and cut her head off.
I wrote a letter. Butterfly's standing in the doorway.
Which letter?
This one. And she walks over and hands Lark a piece of folded up paper.
Lark will open it.
It says, "We are out of Pop-Tarts."
We will get Pop-Tarts on the way back.
All
Butterfly.
right.
Okay.
Yay!
Pop-Tarts are good.
So I feel like there was a lot of information communicated there that makes a lot of sense to someone who's a little more familiar with all of your guys' more intricate history.
Which parts?
I don't know, because I am positive there was logic in that to you. There's a lot of talking in metaphors, and don't get me wrong, I love a little good creative tongue play. But
Me too.
It's often in situations like this best, I find, to be very straightforward. And I feel like there were at least 3, maybe 4 different versions of metaphors for explode that were just discussed, and nobody clarified what they were talking about. So I don't know that any of us are talking about the same thing at all.
Explode as in we are good at making a big scene and causing a hole in a wall whilst being bad and good. And
think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, real good at provoking people,
Yes.
which is why some are like.
Also, because then they don't have to explode.
Oh no, you give us
In-
justification to explode. Look at this.
I don't want you all to explode. I would like to stay in one piece.
So, you want us to stay together while we're in this.
Yes.
We do still need to keep an eye out for people, the person that is betraying our people, though. It's going to be hard to do if we're in place. I'm not against all of us going to the same place. I just want that to be understood. Doing so limits our view.
When the wolf picks off people in the dark, you don't all scatter in the dark to find the wolf faster because one person will die, at least.
Okay. We're back into metaphors and analogies.
I understand that one, though.
It's clearer that way. Sorry.
No, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I want to make sure everybody is on the same page because communication is important in things like this. It is a perfectly good way to communicate. I just want us to be sure everybody understood what that meant.
Also, I made this clear. When I asked Liz what she wanted to do, I knelt down so that Liz and I were on eye level rather than me looking down.
What do you think it means, Megan? Maybe that's easier. And then I can correct you.
That just feels like a trap.
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea what we're talking about at this point.
The wolf is the headhunter.
Yes.
But we were just talking
the
about the
team.
winter court. So are we saying that the headhunter is probably in the winter court?
I don't know. We don't know. That's the
But
problem.
we've got a couple of things to look out for in this mission. Aside from the hobgoblins and Queen Gracie, we have to worry about our potential headhunter.
Right.
We also have to worry about Winter wanting to get reprisal because we just upstaged them big time.
Of course.
Or someone else.
I mean, they're pissed. I get it.
So we should stay together so that we don't get got by Winter. But we also need to keep an eye out for Blue about Headhunter.
Which is unfortunately easier if we are not all together.
Yeah. So, I guess this is where we make that decision. Are we more concerned about getting got, or are we more concerned about getting someone else?
I would say there's a middle ground of, rather than everyone being alone, everyone being in significant groups, even if it's not the entire motley in one place.
Well, that was the first idea. Which was, some of us stay behind, some of us go forward. But
There are also others beyond
That
our
we can
motley that
trust.
we can trust. Yeah.
True.
If the three of you are heading in for the front lines, Liz and I can be back with Barnaby and Gilly and other people that are trustworthy that we know.
that aren't Winter.
Cluck clack is nice.
Click clack.
And I know Action sort of closes his eyes and braces himself. Leaffinger's an asshole, but Leaffinger doesn't want any of us dead.
I wish he did because I'd love an excuse to kill him, but
Yes, and I would absolutely rip him in half if he tried to hurt any of you.
But that's not the case.
But that's not the case, and he will be
Right.
with the Spring Court.
What about the
Sorry, for a
people?
second there, I thought you said Supreme Court, and I was very confused.
Spring Court.
No, it's just a supreme pizza.
I mean, cool.
And
I
also-
just something to consider about that. The more people we have near us, I'm not saying not to. I'm just saying, keep in mind the more people that we have near us, the more people we are making potential targets.
And Diego will be up at the front with us probably, along with. I feel like there are several members of the High Thunders that I want to get into the section.
They captured someone.
No, we captured them. Oh no, they did. Actually, no, they did capture them. Roll that back. Yeah, they're weird.
That's not right.
I trust Diego though, so if he thinks they're worth joining, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
But
He joined you too.
Yeah. Actually, he found me. I joined him, and then I killed his old boss, and then he joined.
Oh.
Yeah, he found me when I came out of the hedge, introduced me to the gang. Then I killed the old Hefe, and I took
How
over.
old is he?
I have never asked.
You should ask.
I also don't know how old I am, so it felt like useless information.
Out of the hedge.
Oh. Do I know how long Diego's been out of the hedge?
Diego has been out around the same amount of time that you have.
Not much longer.
He's
than
not.
I have.
He's not super precise on dates.
Yeah.
Coming back he was very wolf when he first came out.
Yeah.
And higher thought function didn't super assert itself until a bit later.
You know, he hasn't been out much longer than I have, but he was a wolf when he came out, so time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So front group is you, Megan, and Lark.
and then you and I stay back with the other people that we trust.
And as far as Leaffinger being on the Supreme Court, if he's anybody, he's probably Justice Breyer.
A dumb tish.
I mean, that makes me happy because that means that he should probably retire soon.
Liz is gonna use her Pandamancer real quick to see if there are. I mean, it's all murky and up in the air and unknown, but like this seems better than the original plan. But
This was the original plan.
There was a plan originally?
This was the original plan. We just circled back to it.
The original plan in her brain was like everyone scatters. Why are we doing this?
All right. So roll your wits and composure with your normal penalties.
Okay.
The way Liz envisioned the plan going was the way that most WoW instance runs go.
Right.
Leroy Jenkins.
Ooh, I got
Just
two.
everybody literally going off to win different mobs themselves while the healer is like,
It's gotten better.
has it?
At least in my experience, I still
Has
play
it?
WoW regularly. I'm usually tanking, so
Which means you have no idea what the DPS
You
are
have
doing.
no idea what's going on. Let's be honest.
when I've got the entire room, there's nothing else they can be hitting.
You're covered in spell effects.
How
You got
many
no fucking
rooms
clue
are
what we're
actually
doing.
in a dungeon, William? There is a shit ton of other stuff they could be hitting.
Listen, if they're hitting the other stuff, they're dead.
Exactly. With 2 successes for Liz,
I'm glad you understand my experience with instances.
the you focus on your nearest light source and then just let that after image haze onto a blank space in the wall in front of you. It looks unpleasantly like dripping blood.
Yeah.
And then you kind of twist it back and forth to try and get ideas of and what 2 successes on your panamancy is pulling off is this is about as good idea as any.
Okay.
There are no good choices here.
Cool.
The best way to stay
Cool.
safe from a battle is to not get into a battle.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
That option's gone out the window, though.
But you guys pretty much volunteered this
jettisoned.
battle to the entire freehold.
Yeah,
So you can't really back out now.
we jettisoned that option on a rocket launcher.
And
Yeah, that's why she said explosion. It's the whole thing.
Right. And yeah, if the Winter Court wants somebody dead, arranging an accident during a battle is a real easy way to get that to happen.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
excited for y'all to meet my 3rd character this season.
Is there a do we have a on our oaths to the keyhole? Is there do we break an oath if we kill another changeling in self-defense?
What about in cold blood?
I mean, they're winter. Their blood is cold no matter what.
The blood is yours when it's in cold blood. That means that you are not heated. You are,
So the key holds fidelity, which is the pledge of loyalty to a member of the Baltimore Keyhold, says, I do fully and freely promise fealty and loyalty to the freehold and its ruler, to serve and protect as best I may, to keep faith with my comrades and forestall treachery from our enemies, whether plain or hidden. To seal these words, I offer both glamour for security and banishment for betrayal. So, what's more important? The term treachery, the term enemies, the term our versus mine. What constitutes plain or hidden? Who is the definition of an enemy? That is for the weird to determine. And you guys have to figure that shit out as best you can.
So I'm free to lop the head off of any winter spy that tries to kill me. Got it.
I mean, look,
You're absolutely free to do so, whether there are consequences for that.
I mean, there are going to be consequences. Just
you know what the consequences are if you don't? You're
I die.
dead.
Yeah.
So even if you get punched, it's probably, there is at least an 85% chance that the punishment will be less severe than being dead.
And you can't really, like, as the Winter Court, be like, oh, no, I banish you for not dying to the assassin I sent. At that point, it's just like, regicide it is.
So Liz sort of just nods at that because it's
Okay.
the best we have.
So you and Phage stick back with the rear guard. Lark, myself, and Megan go up ahead with Summer.
We'll make sure everybody's healthy. I will probably still have to break a couple of hobgoblin necks because they'll probably try and hit our rear guard.
Oh, absolutely. That's why we need a rear guard. Keep each other safe. Keep an eye out for any treachery. Cut the head off the queen. Ding dong, the queen is dead. We leave.
The queen is dead. Long live the queen. I never understood the meaning of that sentence.
That's because when one queen dies, the next one, the line of
not
succession is
replacing
automatic.
her.
So in this case, there is no long live the queen because there's no succession. Or succession. Sorry, those words are very similar.
When are we going?
Earliest is sometime tonight around sundown. Autumn has to set up their portal, and once they set up their portal, they'll let us know. They figure it's going to be somewhere near Hanlon Park, so best plans are to hang around in that area until it's time. How close is the crack house to Hanlon Park?
So trods are a little bit weird, and it doesn't overlay specifically 1-to-1. It's not like the shadow. It's not like the Umbra for werewolves. But the crack house is honestly only about 10 minutes away, probably from Hanlon Park.
So this is probably a good place to hang out then.
Yeah, you're not in a bad spot. And their best guess is that it's going to be fairly close to West Baltimore, but they don't have an exact mapping of this region, so they're not exactly sure where the link points in the hedge are going to be.
So we'll hang out here until we get the call, and then we'll take the Jeep and head over to the entry point.
All right.
We'll both be better served in triage either way, Liz, because you're better at physical medicine and I've got the spring-given ability to heal.
And there will definitely be some Autumn members out in front with us Summer too. I say, indicating towards Lark.
I need to find the first aid kit. I leave.
All right.
I stand back up finally.
So you go off, you find the first aid kit. It's upstairs, exactly where you left it. Takes you off about 1 minute to get it.
I check over it several times. 3 is a good number.
Okay.
Exactly.
Third time's the charm.
Yep.
Okay, so there's another 5 minutes burned.
I strap on my riot gear.
All right.
I go find Butterfly.
She's seated. You actually know right where she is because you passed her on the stairs on your way out.
Oh, okay.
And you come back down. She's singing something that sounds like a lullaby in a language you do not understand to an empty box of Pop-Tarts. Kind of rocking it back and forth in her arms, sitting on the stairs.
It'll come back.
Shh, sleeping.
Okay. I wanted to ask.
If a box of Pop-Tarts is empty, is it sleeping or is it dead?
Do you want to come with? We're storming a castle.
If neither one of you say good luck storming the castle, I'm going to be mad.
Actively, legitimately mad.
Yes.
Okay. Watch out for ice.
Yes. It's sharp.
It is.
Where's Drummond? That's me, the player, not Agnes. Agnes doesn't know who Drummond is.
Yeah.
Where's Drummond at? Phage, the character asks.
Nobody's seen him for a while.
Who's Drummond?
The Raven.
Who?
The Raven that was at the wake. The talking Raven.
I wasn't at the
Akujin
wake.
wasn't at the wake.
Oh, right. You weren't there.
We have a talking raven.
There's a talking Raven in Baltimore.
Wait a minute, I met somebody who you haven't.
I don't talk to animals all that much.
I mean, there are a lot of people I know that you don't.
Phage.
You know what I mean.
I can get a hold of Drummond if you need me to.
I really don't. I was just curious where
Okay.
the hell he's been.
I'm
Ghost Adele has managed to trap him somewhere.
I'm the talking. Where did a talking raven come from?
Presumably the hedge.
Think about it.
Well, no, I obviously the hedge. I meant more spatially. Where?
I accidentally released it, and now we have a talking raven.
Oh,
He's nice.
He seemed to be pretty dope.
Don't threaten him with a knife.
Adele did that, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yes. Immediately.
You have no reason.
It was their very first interaction.
Yep.
When you say don't threaten someone with a knife in
Oh,
this
that's true.
motley,
That's true. That's true. Akajin would definitely go straight to Adele.
What is the first thing Adele did when she saw Akujin?
Okay, much better reason.
It's how she welcomed people to Baltimore.
This is also true. Because everybody was trying to kill her.
Yeah, that's an Adele thing. I've been stabbed by her more times than I can count.
How high is that?
4, I would guess. At least.
He doesn't answer.
Right.
One time it was with a broken pool cue. That hurt.
I'm sure you've stabbed her as well.
Oh yeah. More times than she stabbed me, but still.
Is it?
We had a really weird, fucked up relationship.
Lark is walking out of this room.
And as
Seems like
The
you haven't
sun-
worked through that yet.
No, we haven't.
the angle of the sun begins to lower, everybody's messages buzz at the same time.
Flip. What's
Wait.
going on?
Look over at Phage's flip phone. Look down at my smartphone.
Right.
No,
Something's
she has a
wrong
smartphone.
here.
She has it in a case. So
Okay.
she keeps the case open.
Okay.
I was like, flipped. What the fuck?
You need someone to buy you a phone.
Phage
has
is
4
a
dots of
diehard
resources.
Motorola Razr fan.
No,
and
Phage is
none
not
of your
Austin.
bullshit.
They do have smart flip phones now, and they're pretty cool. I want one.
Phage is
Phage
not
is
the
like-
Austin.
text-
Phage is like, listen, my Motorola V300 is top of the line 15, 20 years ago.
Still works.
Right,
Why
I
would
got a
get rid of
Nokia
West
Engage over here.
and Druid Hill.
Oh, the N-Gage. Come on, even at the time, everybody knew the N-Gage was a horrible idea.
Absolutely.
So that was West
But the
North
text,
and Druid
the
Hill.
text says corner of West North and Druid Hill back alley.
Let's do this.
Let's go.
File in the Jeep.
Lark will grab both her guns, the switchblade, her armor, and on her way out, she's going to grab a thing of hairspray and a lighter.
Okay,
Just in case.
just in case. All right.
Butterfly, do you have a gun?
Butterfly a gun.
Yes.
Why does
She
Butterfly
points
have a
both her
gun?
She points both her fingers at you. Bang.
Liz is
Do you
dead
want-
now.
List you suffer 12 lethal.
Do
The
you
almighty
want a
finger
real
gun.
one?
Yes.
God, I can't imagine playing a mage who just goes
I
bang
will
and
hand
kills
her my
someone.
gun.
Dude, that
And all of the
whenever we
bullets.
play a mage game, that is my character concept basically. You hand her which one?
The revolver that I have.
Sounds
And
good.
all the bullets
Have you
for
ever
it.
used a gun before?
I don't know.
That's a bad idea, Liz.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna say
I'm-
she's back with you guys. It's totally fine. I'm just saying, as someone who's fairly well trained in guns, it's a bad idea.
Yeah,
She
I'm-
needs to defend herself somehow.
I am all for people self-actualizing and doing their own thing, but a gun's a lot easier to accidentally kill yourself with than a knife.
I've got weapons I can provide.
I was about to say she's
If
probably
need
pretty
be.
handy with a knife.
Yeah.
I've also got weapons that can be had that aren't guns.
Do you want one of those instead?
Okay.
Sweet. I
Okay.
will go out to my bike.
I'll go get the toolbox.
I will grab. Yeah, I'll grab my one of the two kukris
Oh, okay.
and give it to her. Now it's weighted. This one will like quick couple minutes show her the basics of it.
Okay.
I will also.
Her facility with the blade is surprisingly competent.
Okay.
I will also give her a selection of machetes and Bowie knives if she desires additional blades.
She'll take that Bowie knife.
There you go.
Paige has her revolver, her shotgun, and her spiked brass knuckles.
Also, if anyone else needs extra weapons, I pat the toolbox.
And
As
also, of course, the off-road scar.
As we're walking out, looking over at Action, I believe the chance of one of our Motley members getting murdered just went down by about 30%.
How many bullets were in that gun?
I believe our chance of a party member getting murdered just went down 180%.
There you go.
That's not how math works, but fuck it, it's Steiner math.
33% for each bullet. It's an 8-shot revolver.
You guys get into your vehicles.
Those exist. They're weird, but they exist.
And you start driving. It's literally like 5 or 10 minutes down the road from where you guys are currently located. You head north on Monroe, hit West North Avenue, start driving eastward a little bit. Knowing the strange geography of the hedge, it might as well be here. Like if it would be weird if they were actually following the sort of direction that you would have anticipated them going from Hanlon Park, but it's close enough. The gate is apparently in the alley behind the Four Seasons Mini Mart and carry out.
Grab the toolbox, grab the piano case.
There's something, I don't know if it's wrong, right, or ironic about this door being behind the Four Seasons.
I would take it as a sign that winter's here somewhere.
I take it as a sign that your storyteller's still not over that bullshit from Philadelphia.
We're changelings. We see meaning in everything. If there is
in
none.
everything. There are multiple layers of symbolism for this. As you guys pull up, you can see that there are a number of vehicles inside this parking lot. All of them seemingly having just arrived and turning out, and all these SUVs and minivans and shit are just disgorging all of these people who are carrying a number of items, mostly either wrapped up in cloth or in heavy duffel bags, some of them in long cases. And as you look in, Sunset Blue is leaning over the counter talking to the one employee who's on duty that might otherwise be paying attention to what's happening in his parking lot, and is commanding his attention while this all happens. Papa Sledge is leaning up against the corner, having shed his crutches for the first time recently, smoking a cigarette, and just kind of jerking his thumb to each new knot of changeling that arrives. Back around the corner, you'll see the gates open. Let's move, people.
How's your ribs holding up, old man?
Oh, we'll break some arrows on these bastards today.
Good to hear.
And you guys, as a group with Butterfly along, work your way around the back. And in the alley, there are 2 gates set up facing each other. One of them apparently is attached to the swinging small steel door that blocks off a pair of dumpsters in a concrete enclosure. The other is basically just the back door to the door in the back of a small outbuilding that is apparently used as storage. But through each one, you can see a snowy, wild landscape that does not at all match the surroundings that you're in currently.
They're a clear
They're right next to
indicator.
each other, just pick a side. They're right next to each other, just pick a side as they start just directing people, through whichever one is free to pass through.
Is there any clear indicator? Does it seem like both lead to the same place, or?
That seems to be the indication. Yep, that they've opened up a pair of gates in close adjacent locations. Who's going through first?
I go through the right-hand side.
All right. So taking a right into the outbuilding, you bend down and straighten up coming through, and you find yourself pulling yourself out of a freestanding wooden frame of what looks to be a full-length mirror, which is one of the substances that you can use to open a gate.
I clear the way for anyone following behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Stepping back, you can see Ainsley Heath and Acacia Thorne and a couple of other Autumn Court people in the immediate proximity, most of them with their eyes on what serves as a tree line. There's a small clearing here, probably no more than 30 feet across, and then a narrow lane with some dirt visible where the snow has been tramped down. And looking around, it looks like Autumn sent a few people into the hedge carrying full-length mirrors, found a spot, set them up, and used them to open gates.
Is there a clear spot where summer's gathering yet?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're right down at the mouth of that little lane.
Heading over there, and as I approach, I'm jangling the toolbox. Anyone that needs an extra side piece,
keep it fucking down.
And Faith looks at the others and just
drop it
all
next
right,
to Summer.
let's stay together for right now. And Phage will head through the right door as well.
Yeah.
This is following close behind Phage.
All right.
Phage will look
Megan?
over.
Yes. No, I said yes.
Okay. So
Lark
as all
goes-
of you...
Lark goes to
Yeah.
the left.
Okay.
You're just doing that to make Liz upset.
She's really not.
So Liz, you and Phage step out of this framed full-length mirror, and you kind of look around, and directly adjacent to you, just to the left-hand side, there's a second mirror, and you see Lark stepping through.
Okay.
And then you see a hand with a kukri come through and just kind of wave back and forth a little bit, and then it vanishes. And then it waves back and forth a little bit.
I touch
And
the hand.
Takes a
Like-
swipe at you. What's your defense?
Oh boy. 3. It's 3.
Okay.
And this is how Liz dies.
It's a blind strike. There's going to be a lot of penalties for this.
This is how Liz dies. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Blind strike, but she gets 9 again.
No, this isn't a targeted attack. Otherwise, she would.
The blind strike, but she gets 3 again.
So you get a shallow gash on the back of your hand. You take 1 lethal.
Okay. I'm like, I was basically trying to grab on and
Right. Mm-hmm.
say here. It's
And
this
then
way,
the
kind
head
of thing.
comes through and the rest of the body. You need to be careful of those thorns.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Phage looks over at the people who are not Summer and heading for the gathering part, and so it's presumably just Autumn right now.
Yes, there's about 4 or 5 autumn courtiers who are here And yeah, summer has been the majority of people who have come through first. There's a couple spring scattered around that some of them are setting up little stations where it looks like, basically some sort of insulative padding. Carl Stitches is one of the spring who is here.
That was going to be my next question. She was
Mhm.
going to ask if anyone had a triage station set up yet, but
Right,
seeing
yeah,
one,
and
she
he
head over
he
there.
is clearly setting up. He's got supplies out. And yeah, he's rigging for reception.
Yeah, so Phage will head over there.
Okay.
Is anybody clearly organizing the summer right now, or are they just sort of gathering haphazardly?
Yes, War Dancer is right there, and she is getting everybody
Right.
formed up.
I'm
It's all hand signs at this point. They're
Okay.
keeping things as quiet as possible. Most of the noise is a little further away, slightly muffled by the snow, but it's Carl basically moving stuff around and getting things set up.
I'm gonna help out as best I can and make sure that everybody has third and fourth options of weapons in
Okay.
case their first and second options break.
Mm-hmm. There seems to be a pretty decent supply, but there's a few people that grab an extra holdout of some sort that they can use as redundant backup if they need to.
Yeah, my objective here is just making sure that if your first weapon breaks and your second weapon breaks, you have a third and a fourth.
Mm-hmm. But eventually, people are deployed, and you see that a couple of the elementals and ogres are all assembling towards the front. They're being given these thick, heavy, almost full-length shields. And a couple of them are forming kind of a second rank for upper cover as well. Akajin, how good are you at formations?
I can lead a group.
You want to grab a barricade?
Yeah. I'll sort of sling the sword over my back. So I've got, looking at Akujin now, he's got the riot gear on. He's got his broken blade hanging on his back, a sawed-off shotgun on one leg, a Bowie knife down at his thigh, and a machete across the back of his belt.
Yep.
and like a standard Beretta tucked in somewhere. And I'll go grab a riot shield and sort of take a middle position with the ogres and elementals.
Okay. Yep. But yeah, so Sarah Bloodred is actually immediately to your left, and a water dweller ogre, Crag Cake, actually, who you remember from meeting in when you first went to meet Lee Fingers Motley and talk to him about Adele's curse, is on your right.
What sort of material? Looking at the riot shields, at the shields we've got, what sort of element would be best utilized in reinforcing these?
So they have it's basically metal on a wood frame and backing.
Okay.
So yeah, those are their primary two substance.
So yeah, as silently as I can while I'm organizing the front line, any elementals that have contracts of metal and wood, I'm going to ask them if they can start trying to reinforce these as much as they can, because we're going to be taking a lot of shots. And sort of, I've seen these hobgoblins fire. They can kill a changeling with 2 or 3 shots. We want to make sure these are going to hold up as best as possible. So start talking to them, make sure they're ready.
So Copper Tom and where's my other guy? Comes over and begins engaging with that, and so does Tony, who's another member of the Woodkerns Motley too. Lee Fingers Motley. They begin just sort of pushing glamour into these as best they can to reinforce that, and give you guys a little bit better of a moving fortification.
And I'll let them know, focus on the middle line and the ones above. We're gonna want our front end people to get to that gate as quickly and safely as possible so we can rip it open. Once we're inside, their attention will be less on the forces outside.
There's nods and murmurs of agreement.
Any-
And then
And then among the ogres, I'm going to make sure that anybody that are I can't think of the siege the ones that are good at tearing down walls. I can't think of the.
so there aren't any of those in summer,
Okay.
but there's a heavy footfall behind you, and an ogre who's simply known as the Keys steps up to you. He's an autumn courtier who has just recently come through. So I heard there might be some fortifications to take down. And he flexes his fingers, and you can see he doesn't have fingernails. He has backhoe teeth, basically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're literally just called renders. That's right.
That's it.
Mhm.
Renders. That's what I'm
Yep.
thinking of. I look at his hands. I think you need to be up front with me. Get this
Once
man
I
a
get
shield.
moving, I don't slow down much. So
The hilarious thing is
Actually-
the render's natural talons go with the contract of stone ogre's rending grasp
Oh,
for
yeah.
just
Oh,
ripping
yeah.
things open.
that shit stacks.
Actually-
Yeah, no, it's
You're not going to hold a shield. You're going to stay in the middle of a couple others with shields, so that as soon as we get up, you don't have to drop anything, and you can start ripping through the defenses.
works for me, boss.
And a couple people around him. Make sure nothing gets to him.
There's a couple hands that reach out and just slap him on shoulders and stuff as you guys begin to set up your formation.
So basically, I'm basically forming us as a arrow column,
Mm-hmm.
so that it's like get the front end to the gate as quickly as possible, and keep him and keep Keys covered so that he can punch a hole, so that we can just file in and start drawing the wall attackers away from attacking the outside. Because I know we don't have enough shields to cover everybody.
Right. War dancers going up and down the line. Keep your eyes open, watch the ground, stay on the path, don't slip, don't lose your footing. Foliage around here is lethal. And then she starts going back through the crowd. All right. Anybody who's looking for direct engagement? Megan, I know you said you were going to be part of the column. Anybody else? And there's a few autumn and a spring or two that volunteer for that. And then there's a waft of wind as a number of other shapes begin to step through. All of them have heavy white headgear pulled down, ski goggles on. Most of them with some sort of blade or silenced firearm stepping through. You can, just by body type, you can tell we've got a number of different seemings here, a number of different kiths, but all of them are facially obscured from the neck up as Winter steps onto the ground. Few of them post up and take sentry positions on the edges of the small clearing here, and a number of others file in, probably about a half dozen or so, towards the back of the column.
Phage gives them a wave as she puts her helmet on.
There's a few answering nods.
Lark, you're up front with us, right?
Yes.
Stay behind me and
Okay.
use your guns.
That's the plan.
Perfect.
You're gonna have there's gonna be very little view on the approach. If you can get a clear shot, take it, but mostly focus on staying behind these shields.
Okay.
War Dancer looks up towards the edge as Papa Sledge comes out, and Autumn brings the mirrors down and the gates closed. All right, everybody. Those in back, we hold this position. Doesn't matter what happens at the castle if we can't get out somehow. Protect the wounded. If any of them are just able to be thrown back into the fight, send in units for that. Don't let them trickle in one at a time. We don't want anybody getting picked off straggler-wise trying to get back into the mix.
Really quick, I want to look at my shield line and see if there
Mhm.
are any that look like they're going to be less either less sturdy or less confident engaging in melee combat?
Most of your shield line is all summer, and you know that they've been trained for
Okay.
melee pretty well. The list of people who you've got up here, palpably muscled.
In that case, I'm gonna see I'm gonna see if I can get a read on them and see which two of them would serve best as retreat guards, because we're gonna need somebody with shields to carry anybody who's injured back to the rear guard and not be engaged in fighting.
You would honestly say Crab Cake or Tony, who is an elemental, not an ogre, and isn't currently carrying a shield, but would be capable of doing so if need be, would probably be your best candidates for exfil.
I'm gonna pull them over. Once we get in, I'm dropping this fucking shield. I need you guys to hold this up, and anybody that gets injured, use this to cover them and get them back to the healers.
There's some quiet nods.
That's going to be the most important, because if we can't get our wounded out, we're just going to die. Every injured person is an obstacle in this case.
You see Sledge pull on a pair of heavy leather gloves and just grab that hammer of his that he usually carries anytime that there's something to be going on. All right, everybody. Let's go knock on a door.
I raise a fist holding the shield, put it down, and start leading the column.
All right. You guys begin to maneuver your way out. And it's a slow advance at start. Everybody's finding the rhythm of movement. And then occasionally there's a snap from War Dancer, who is right in the middle of the front of the column, back probably 3 or 4 rows, but just in a position where she can more or less monitor the full 180 degrees that she's able to keep attention on as the initial director of the front of this column. And the pace begins to quicken by about a half beat each time. And suddenly there's a small gap above the edge of your shield, Akujin, but below the rim of the one behind that's sort of forming the top barrier.
Mm-hmm.
And you round a corner and you can see, as the height of the vegetation drops, there's just this wide open expanse with that fortification, that woven vine, brambly briar castle at the far end. It's probably 300 yards away at this point. The only evidence of the path is this pristine snow-covered, about 18 inches below surface that seems to snake through this much rougher, intermittent, tangled mass of also snow-blanketed vegetation. But you can see these lethally sharp thorns poking up and out of the snow every so often. But that vegetation is probably about 3 or 4 feet high at most points. And then there's this deeper snow of a path that seems to be mostly open. You have no idea what's under that snow, but your only choice at this point is going to be to take this last couple 100 yards as quickly as possible.
So yeah, just at this point it's roar and charge, right?
Pretty much.
So just iron spear! Ah! I just start yelling.
All right. And there's just a burst of snow. You guys make it probably 50 yards before you hear answering horns coming from the fortification ahead. And battle is about to be joined. And that's where we're going to pick up for next week's finale.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.